today's video already pretty much says what the reading is going to be about, but before I get started on the reading and the shuffling, I wanted to quickly explain that the reading has less to do with igniting that passion or that spark or that sudden feeling of motivation, and it's more about what you can do or habits you can do to make the task a little bit easier, or make it more likely or make it less likely that you're going to put it off, or more likely that you can look forward to doing it. I recently watched a couple of TED Talks, one by Mel Robbins and another by Reggie Rivers, and they had to do with motivation and achieving your goals. With a point Mel Robbins made in her TED Talk was that if you wait to feel motivated, then you're never going to get anything done because you're waiting on a feeling rather than taking action. And with Reggie Rivers, it was about focusing on your behaviors rather than the goal itself. And I can link the two TED Talks down below if you want to go check it out. But that is just a quick introduction to the reading. As usual, I'm going to be shuffling for 3 piles. I'm also going to be channeling a song for each pile, and I'm going to try out this room board that I made. These dice were given to me by a friend, so I'm going to be using that after each reading. If you want to skip the shuffling, the timestamps are down below as usual. Alright, so I have the 3 piles here. If you prefer choosing with crystals, for pile number 1, I have this piece of amethyst. For pile number 2, citrine. And pile number 3, rainbow moonstone. Pick any pile that goes out to you, and I'll be starting number 1 in just a couple of moments. Alright, pile number 1, for those of you guys who chose this amethyst. Okay, so we're gonna get started with the Wildwood deck. You have 6 of Stones, Exploitation, and Reversed, and I'll show these later or in a bit. Queen of Arrows, Swan. Queen of Arrows, Swan, in reversed. 8 of Bows, Hearthfire, in reversed. Knight of Bows, Fox, and Knight of Bows, Respect, in reverse. So, off camera, I had to clarify a couple of these cards, but the main message I'm getting from pile number 1 is that it feels like you're kind of dependent on something or someone, and I don't mean necessarily in a codependent relationship sort of way, but it's more like you're kind of relying on other people to achieve your goals. It kind of feels like you think you need people to achieve your goals or to get something done. So the first card was 6 of Stones, Exploitation. With this card, it feels kind of like a standstill. It kind of feels like some of you are kind of waiting on other people. Maybe you think that you need them for something, or you can't get something done without them, or you need their okay or their approval or whatever it is. For clarification, there was the home card. We have the home card in reverse. So you can probably notice the 2 figures next on the other side of the arch. And because it's separated and the home card is in reverse, it kind of feels like you're not making the first move unless you know that this person is going to be on board for whatever reason, whether you need their approval or you think you need their advice or the help or their guidance or whatever. With the Swan card in reverse, this is actually saying that you are giving yourself back by waiting on other people, even if you think they have a lot more expertise, or they're better than you at a skill, or you need their approval. With this one card in reverse, or this one card upright, I usually see this card as the swan just kind of moving in one direction, or just moving, or just flowing along. But this is kind of you being that stuck energy. So we have the earth fire in reverse and skills in reverse. With the earth fire in reverse, for some of you this could be about cutting off people if they're toxic or distancing yourself, but it's more about independence and starting to do things yourself. So you don't have to completely go in this hermit mode and isolate yourself from everyone, but it is saying to take the initiative yourself and not rely on everyone around you in order to do a task. So we have the Fox card, and just to juxtapose with the Hearth Fire, notice the Fox is alone and the Hearth Fire is with a bunch of other people. So again, this isn't saying that you have to isolate yourself or go in this complete hermit mode, but it is saying that you have enough to do it yourself. I allow distraction to make space for creation. So this card, I usually see this as something that indicates entire moment, but I don't think this is really about that. This is more about you stepping out of your comfort zone in order to make your life a little bit easier, even if it may be hard in the beginning. It's going to be worthwhile in the long term. I release the need to motivate myself and allow inspiration to flow naturally to me and through me. So just to reiterate again, this is about finding inspiration within yourself, finding inspiration without seeing if other people are going to be on board or seeing if someone else is going to help you. I think part number 1 might resonate with the TED Talk by Mel Robbins, where she talks about you're not going to feel motivated, so just do it. And by not feeling motivated, it means that you can't rely on that. You can't rely on that feeling where you just feel motivated in the spur of the moment. If you rely on that, then you're not going to get a lot of things done. So this is the bottom of the deck energy. We have Knight of Bows, Respect in reverse. I feel like in a way this is saying to respect yourself a little bit more, to give yourself more credit. When I see this card, I also see this as you being the stuck energy. So when this is upright, I usually see this as someone charging forward. But in the reverse energy, I feel like it's saying that because you don't respect yourself enough, or you're putting yourself down, or you don't think you have enough to do this, you're giving yourself in this energy. Right, so we have family and sex. I'm going to clarify this one because I don't think this is to be taken at face value. It could be for some of you, but I think there's a little bit more behind that. For family, I do think it's saying to spend time with people that are supportive, definitely, but don't rely on them to get the ball rolling. the main message I'm getting here, and I can read the cards a little bit, but the main message I'm getting here is that it feels like some of you need to add a break into your life and add more love into your life. I don't necessarily mean compassion, I don't mean physical or even romantic love, but just doing things that you enjoy, that give you pleasure, whatever that is. So Ace of Cups, it's about love, compassion, creativity. King of Swords, inner truth, quiet power. And Nine of Pentacles, it's about over-investment in work. For some of you, it feels like it's saying to give yourself breaks or times off, especially if you're being stressed out by work. But for most of you, it feels like it's saying to add more things to your life that you enjoy and you take pleasure from. Alright, lastly for pile number 1, I'm going to channel a song and roll these dice for a rune for another channel message. So pile number 1, your song is Sister by K-Flay. So with the channeled song, it can be the title of the song, the lyrics, or just how the song makes you feel that can resonate with you. So I don't know any of these runes, so I just started getting into them. But you guys have Othala. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it looks like that right there, if you can see it. So this one apparently means ancestral property. It aids in spiritual and physical journeys, source of safety, increase, and abundance. So I feel like this is saying that you are being guided, you are safe. Even if you venture out doing this alone, you are going to be protected and guided. And that's for pile number 1. Alright, pile number 2 with the citrine. So I'm going to be sitting on the Wildwood deck and then getting into the affirmations and oracles later. We have Three of Arrows, Jealousy, Knight of Arrows, Hawk in reverse, Ace of Arrows, the Breath of Life in reverse, 18, the Moon on Water in reverse, and Page of Bows, Stoat. I feel like this might be a little bit similar to pile number 1, except it's not like you're relying on other people, but you're kind of keeping yourself back because maybe there are self-defeating attitudes or self-defeating thoughts, especially with the jealousy card. But I'm going to clarify that one. For a lot of you, I don't think the jealousy card is supposed to be taken at face value. Maybe for some of you it could be, but for others of you I feel like it's more about... Okay, yeah. So we have the Empowerment card. So, the jealousy card reminds me of the concept of pulling out your own arrows. I first heard this concept from Just Getting News and 90 Days of Freedom, which is by Joe Chishikawa from Just Getting News. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels, if you guys don't know that. But getting back to this, the concept of pulling of pulling out your own arrows is that you're not forgiving yourself of things that you did in the past, or you're keeping yourself guilty or stuck or in this energy, or you feel like you can't move on because you hold these truths to yourself that don't allow you to move on. For example, maybe you did something in the past that you're not proud of, and you're not forgiving yourself for that, and somehow that makes it a little bit harder for you to motivate yourself because you're kind of punishing yourself for what you did in the past. Some of you could be feeling frustrated or guilty or whatever negative energy is keeping you disempowered. So the moon card in the reverse is about releasing fear. This is the clarification for that. Again, this is saying that, again with the arrows, it feels like it's saying that you're keeping yourself in this self-defeatist mental state or attitude. I feel like for some of you it's saying that you, maybe it wasn't yourself telling yourself this, but it could have been people in the past or other people just in general. But it is saying you have control of how you respond and react to people like that. The Stoat was the bottom of the deck energy. So this is you kind of looking back. It could be for approval, or maybe you're looking back at something. But whatever it is, you're not moving because of it. So instead of looking for approval or looking back at what you did wrong, it's kind of encouraging you to go into a different direction that's preferably forward. So we have to take a walk. Some of these can be taken at face value, but for walk, I feel like this is about just you clearing your mind. It's about you clearing your mind, visualizing where you're going, kind of taking your own path. Drink tea, again, relaxing, calming your mind, meditating. Take a bath. This is more about cleansing yourself, kind of getting rid of any toxic energy or bad energy or whatever that is kind of keeping you kind of bogged down. I think Citrine has to do with optimism. Yeah, so it releases negative traits, depression, fears, phobias. On a side note about any anxiety or depressive disorders, don't rely on crystals, obviously. Get mental help if you need it. But for most of you, I feel like it's generally saying to release negativity and to cleanse yourself of any toxins or negativity or anything that's keeping you bogged down. And tell yourself more positive affirmations instead of repeating past negative energies or past negative words that is keeping you in this cycle or in this energy. Alright, and then we're going to channel a song and roll the dice for the runes. So your song is Knights of Sidonia by Muse. It can be the title, the lyrics, or even the feeling of the song that resonates with you. For your runes, for your rune, we have so we have this one in reverse. I believe that's manas. So, okay. This rune in reverse is about depression, mortality, blindness, self-delusion, cunning, slyness, manipulation, craftiness, calculation. I feel like this is kind of calling you out on your negative attitudes about yourself, and that's something that you need to change. And alright, gonna move on to Pao number 3. Pao number 3 with the Rainbow Moonstone. We have Three of Stones, creativity. 5 of Vessels, ecstasy. 3 of Vessels, joy. And Ace of Bow, spark of life. Okay. I have a feeling about what this is about, but I'm going to clarify this one to be a little bit more sure. Could do with connecting, maybe grounding. I maybe you're doing things that make you disconnected and not grounded. One of the messages feels like it's about you're kind of keeping yourself back, but it almost looks like you're enjoying it, not in a masochistic sort of way, but this reminds me of what Mel Robinson in her TED Talk video about saying you're fine when you're really not. So it looks like you're kind of stuck there, but you're kind of telling yourself that you want to be stuck there, or you want to be there and you're fine being there. On the other hand, it also feels like it's saying that you need to be more grounded. With the ecstasy card and the skill card in reverse, it feels like it's saying that you're doing things that distract you from this. So these things can make you feel like you're enjoying it, or make you feel pleasurable. They can be pleasurable, or they're just distractions. But even though it feels good, it's taking you away from whatever task you want to do. This feels like it's saying that you're kind of waiting for the spark to happen, or you're kind of looking for things that give you that spark, or that give you that motivation, or maybe just pleasure in general. So for the ecstasy card, it could be, so for some of you, it could be drugs like weed or alcohol. Maybe it's just playing games or being on the internet or social media. It's kind of like with the spark of life, it's like you give yourself short-term dopamine or short-term pleasure. Alright, so to clarify the Three of Vessels joy card, we have Seven of Wands in reverse and Queen of Cups. So I don't know the Rider-Waite tarot off the top of my head. Okay, so with the Seven of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse, Seven of Wands was about exhaustion, I believe. It was exhaustion, giving up, overwhelmed. The Queen of Cups in reverse also pointed to codependency, emotional insecurity. So with this, it feels like whatever you're using makes you feel good in the moment, but you're kind of codependent on it. Maybe for some of you, you're dependent on whatever this is to bring the spark back. Or maybe you just do it out of a habit. So you have connect with the earth and look for fairies. This is saying to disconnect from the things that is making you feel less grounded and less connected. For a lot of you, I feel like it's literally saying to go outside and kind of slow down in your vices, or if you can, just cut them out altogether. With I see light and choose to reside in this loving presence. Some of you may be connected to these vices, whatever they are, because you feel like it's the only thing that's giving you joy or pleasure, but it's saying that there are other things in your life that can give you the same amount of pleasure, even more pleasure, if you just allow it to. So it's the same with looking for fairies. I feel like these two cards are connected. With these two cards together, it's kind of like saying that whatever you're putting off or fearing is not going to be that bad if you actually look for the positives in it. So for bottom number 3, I'm going to channel a song and then a rune for your messages. Okay, so this song is completely in Japanese and I can't read it, so I'll just link it down below. But it is a song by Daoko. If you can find the translation, or if I can find the translation, it could be the title of the song that resonates, or the feeling of the song, or just some of the lyrics of the song. If I can find a translation, I'll post that as well. And for your rune, this one. So you have, I don't know how to pronounce any of these, I don't know that much about runes, but you have this one, Kanaz, I believe, and reversed. So this is about disease, breakup, instability, lack of creativity, nakedness, exposure, loss of illusion, and false hope. So I feel like this is again about kind of disconnecting or cutting yourself off from these things that is actually holding you back, even though you think it gives you pleasure. Lack of creativity, I feel like it's saying that some of these vices could be blocking your creativity. Nakedness, exposure, I feel like it's saying that some of you need to kind of be more open for source, or to be more open for things to come your way, or to be more open to opportunities, or to be more open to positive things, or to be more receptive in general. Maybe being more vulnerable for some of you. With false hope, I feel like it's saying that you're kind of relying on these vices to give you pleasure and joy. It reminds me of a video by Aaron Doughty, where he talks about vibrations and keeping yourself in a lower vibration by doing certain things. Kind of feel like rolling another one for you guys. 22. And you also have this inquest. It's about internal growth, common virtues, common sense, family love, caring, human warmth, the home, a time of relief, no anxiety. So some of you could be using these vices as a sense of security, or relief, but it also says a time when all loose strings are tied and you are free to move in a new direction. So it also says to, again, let go of these vices that's keeping you in this energy. Alright, so that was pile number 3.